Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for a Movie Monday. Tonight, The Incredible Hulk. That's right everybody, it's Movie Monday here on Pop Culture Philosophers. Every Monday we're going to be talking about a brand new movie. We are going through the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to the Infinity War. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is
Jelani, Bullard.
And this is
Brooks.
The Magnificent One. Thank you guys for checking us out. We're going to be talking about 2008's The Incredible Hulk, done by Marvel Studios, their second one. They made it right around the same time as Iron Man. Iron Man, Incredible Hulk were a big gamble, trying to start off doing things on their own, maybe build a cohesive cinematic universe. Obviously, history has told us that it worked, but at the time they did not know if it would work, and everybody really loved Iron Man. Yeah. Not as many people loved Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton, the star and co-producer, being one of those people. So we're going to talk about this movie, our feelings at the time, our feelings now, and what we think about these performances and how it stands in the place of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I do like this movie. I don't think it's as strong as Iron Man, but it was really good, solid movie. It was the best Hulk film to date. It finally gave people the Hulk movie they wanted, which had a lot of action, a lot of smashing, a lot of Hulk, fast, just a breakneck pace to this movie. It keeps moving, and it attempts to slow down and build a little bit of drama around it. I feel like a lot of the drama got cut out of this movie. I would like to have seen what the Edward Norton cut looked like. Edward Norton wanted final cut. He was apparently promised it. They asked that away. Who knows what really happened? When it comes to Hollywood, you never do know. But I would like to see the version that had all that action, but with the slower character building bits and how that would have affected the pace of the movie. Because this movie is paced very, very quickly. The only problem, I think, is it slows down a little bit. So would it have evened out with more of that? I'm not exactly sure. Of course, there was a lot more Doc Samson in that original cut. But overall, I do like the movie. I think it's solid. It is nowhere near the worst of the MCU. And it's not really necessarily, it's nowhere near one of the best. But it's a good, solid movie. And I still think the best solo Hulk film we have ever had to date. And a better Hulk film, I think, than Thor Ragnarok. Oh, that was a hot take. Moving on. Jelani, what do you think about this movie and where and its history and its place?
Well, I love this Hulk film because it's better than the Hulk. Or Hulk.
Hulk. No,
the Ang Lee Hulk.
Okay.
It's way better than that, so I give it kudos.
I'll agree that it's better than that movie, but I don't hate
it's drama.
I don't hate Ang Lee's Hulk movie that much.
No, I don't hate it. It's
a lot of people do.
It's very slow paced. It's weak. It has weak villain. It doesn't give you a Hulk story. Hulk can't be beaten, and you can tell. Yeah. So okay, make him fight a bunch of Hulk dogs, and then you fight a bunch. You fight a smoke monster at the end. I mean, what? So, as a film, this one's way leaps and better. We want to see Hulk all the time. We want to see Hulk fight. And this movie gave it to us.
Yes.
I mean, he looked inconsistent at times. Sometimes it looked great. That CG was great, but it's in the infancy stages of what they were trying to make.
Yes.
And of course, the Avengers Hulk is superior in every way, the way it looks and how seamless it looks on the screen. But it took them time to get there.
Yeah.
And they used the money that they had because they didn't have that Disney bucks they have now.
Yeah, they didn't have that back then.
And so it looks choppy, but it's still a clean film. I like the relationship with Ed Norton and Liv Tyler. I like
Bruce and Betty.
It's a good story for them. And even at the beginning, it's just a cut. It gives you an idea of what happened. Yes. And how it hurt her, it hurt Betty, and how he, by him changing into the Hulk. It gives you all that in a snippet. It felt like Spider-Man 2. When they recap everything. So I like that part. I like the setups in this. I like how they tried to actually make a villain for it, which the villain's kind of weak.
The Abomination. Emil Blonsky.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him in a minute.
We'll talk him. Tim Roth is excellent in that, but it was a great film until it wasn't. I loved the Stan Lee cameo of how he even worked at the how Ed Norton worked at that soda factory
in Brazil, in Brazil,
and his drop of his blood falls into one.
That is one of my favorite.
It's a good
Stanley cameo.
It's a great cameo.
He drinks the soda,
and he drinks it and gets sick.
Wow.
So it's just little things in that movie I really like. I like that whole the way he's trying to control not turning into the Hulk. And how many days it takes.
Oh, that's a great little.
If they kept that like throughout the other stories, oh man. See, and there's so much stuff from this movie since it wasn't well received, and how they fell out so badly with Ed Norton that you don't get like those little snippets of what was good in that movie transferred over. You get Veronica reference for the Hulkbuster suit. And you get, you don't really get where's Betty? What happened to Betty?
Yeah.
What happened to the leader?
The leader's still out there. The Abomination is still out there. The only thing that really has lasted through was when they used Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt, in Civil War. And also there are references where he's like, well, in the Avengers, he's like, I kind of broke Harlem last time I was here.
Yeah.
And
just little stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's not.
I love the paranoia that Bruce feels in this movie, and Ed Norton is so good at showing this. He has to live his life so carefully, making sure that no blood gets everywhere, obviously. He's hiding from the government. He can't be near Betty. You got the whole Mr. Blue, Mr. Green thing, which comes from the Bruce Jones run on Incredible Hulk, which was really, really good stuff. Of course, in the comic books, Mr. Blue was not the leader. Samuel Stearns is the character that's trying to help him out, but he's also in it for his own goal.
Right.
He's made all this other blood. Lots of cool stuff that they were building up to. Even the end of the film, where he's learning now how to control it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things they did in the Bruce Jones run, if you remember, was he was able to start utilizing the Hulk's strength before he even changed. When his eyes would glow and he was able to do things. I really like this movie, and I think it's really, really solid. I just do think it has... It has, I don't know, Act 1 is good, Act 2 is good, Act 3 is good. Louis Leterrier, the director from The Transporter, so it's high octane, it's got a lot of energy. It's got good, because I feel like they cut out so much of what was meant to be character build up and explaining the relationships that they had to use the bare minimum in those scenes, which makes it feel melodramatic to me. So that's the only real if I got about this movie. I love the opening. It's reminiscent of the Incredible Hulk TV series. They use the music from the Incredible Hulk TV series as he's walking away. Of course, the Incredible Hulk was created in the early 60s by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. In the book, The Incredible Hulk #1 was not a success when it first came out. When 6 issues got canned, then the character of Hulk started appearing in books like Fantastic Four, Avengers, Tales to Astonish, eventually becoming his own title again, picking up the numbering from Tales to Astonish. Speaking of Tales to Astonish, Brooks always gives us astonishing tales here in the Huntsville Attic, our studio. Brooks, what do you think about the Incredible Hulk movie? I realize we've been talking like 20 minutes, ain't even asked Brooks what he thought.
Man, that's very rude.
It is. Pardon us. What do you think about it?
I like the Hulk movie. I think it's a good, solid movie. I think a lot of people don't like it as much, which I can see that.
Okay.
It's got its weaknesses, but I think overall it's a good, solid entry into the MCU.
Was it the best Hulk film at the time?
Well, yes.
Okay.
It still is, really. I thought there was a...
There was... I think... What do you think about the CG in the Hulk?
I still think the CG is good. I'm not really a guy who looks too far, too deep into CG, though. I'm not someone who judges bad CG usually.
Yeah.
Usually I have a pretty high tolerance. I can... I let my imagination make it what it needs to be.
Okay.
So I thought it looked really good. I thought
he looked like Hulk.
I didn't have any complaints. Yeah, I like the expressiveness they gave to this Hulk. Like when the helicopters crashed and he's going to save Betty, and then the Abomination comes back up and he's like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. But yeah, I thought overall the movie looked really good. The story was all right. The characters are pretty good. And the villain was decent.
Yeah, okay, real quick on the CG thing. I think that the CG is good, especially for its time. And I don't really know if we talked about this last week, but Iron Man's got really legit CG
it does.
as well.
I mean, it holds up.
So Iron Man's got great CG.
Yeah.
Hulk had great CG for the time. I think the mistake was the fact that they tried to maybe do a little too much of a modern comic book take on the Hulk. Giving him all the extra muscles, super muscular, a little bit leaner. In Avengers, they kind of used more of a Jack Kirby influence, made him bulkier. I think it worked a lot better, but I also think a lot of it has to do with they looked at Ed Norton and made a Hulk out of him, and then they used Mark Ruffalo. And we'll get into this Mark Ruffalo versus Ed Norton thing in just a second.
But that real quick, the Hulk was like this bodybuilder. They actually got a bodybuilder and scanned his body. And I forgot his name.
Yeah, okay.
But so it is his body. He was overly muscular because they added more to it. But it was based on this guy.
So maybe it's too realistic looking.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe it's too realistic looking for its time. Maybe if you put so much detail into it, it took away from it.
Yeah.
But like the simpler Hulk, not that, I mean, I don't know, because it's not simpler CG in Avengers at all, but it's a simpler form for the Hulk.
The best... I saw the CG in this movie, and I see it as the cave scene where he saves Betty, and the water is just raining, and the water's coming off of him, and it's like it looks like water. It looks like he's there.
That is a really good.
So that's a good scene.
That's one of my favorite scenes, just because he tries to throw a rocket
at the storm. At the storm,
because the lightning hits, and he's like,
"Fuck you, storm!" Mad.
They really did capture Bruce Banner's character and the Hulk so well in this. Thunderbolt Ross is great in this movie as well. William Hurt does a good job. The unfortunate thing about the Ang Lee Hulk movie not really working out was that we never again will get Sam Elliott as Thunderbolt Ross.
Thunderbolt Ross, he's the best.
Because Sam Elliott was an amazing
Everyone
Thunderbolt
that was
Ross.
cast except probably Eric Bana.
They cast him because of his name.
Yeah, just Banner.
Eric Banner can play Bruce Banner.
No, he can't. Banner. But you throw him in, you throw him out, put Ed Norton in that same movie, and give him the Incredible Hulk script.
And give him a villain.
Give him a villain to work with.
Don't just have
Cloud, not Nolte Smoke Cloud.
Nick Nolte. Oh, anyway, we're not talking about the Ang Lee Hulk. You know, I said that movie's not that bad, but man.
Yeah, you think about it.
There's some things about it that are actually okay, but this one is way better. This one, great pace to it, really fun.
The plane, when he falls out of he pushes him out of the plane, and
the copter.
The
first Hulk bomb we get in a movie.
It was so awesome.
Yes.
So I mean, that was in the trailer. So I was anticipating this movie because of that one scene.
Yes. Speaking of that scene,
it delivers. Go ahead.
The villain, Tim Roth.
Tim Roth.
I almost said Tim Curry. Tim Roth played Emil Blonsky, who in the comic books is a Russian guy. The Russians are trying to replicate the Hulk, and the Abomination is stronger than the Hulk. Yep. He's got a tougher hide than the Hulk, and he maintains his intelligence and all that stuff. So that's cool. They cast Tim Roth, who is not Russian, and instead of doing a Russian accent, they say, "Oh, he's Russian, but raised in England." Okay, whatever. And he's on loan to the U.S. government. Whatever. I love the one thing I do like about the Abomination for sure is I love the idea that he's addicted to wanting to go further and further and further, and the bones and the way that the Abomination looks is not the strongest. Okay. But at least the bones kind of make sense with what they were doing because they were injecting it into his bones and his bones were popping out and all that. But I love that this really starts setting up the history of the MCU and the Super Soldier program because that's what they're trying to replicate here. Yeah. And I think that stuff's really, really fun. I loved when he first starts getting those powers and he goes and fights the Hulk. That's a great scene. He's moving around. I remember us thinking, this is what
Cap's gonna look like.
We were so pumped and excited. And I love the moment he's like, "Is that all you got?" And he just kicks
him into a tree.
Breaks every single bone.
His bones are all smashed.
That's the other thing. All of his bones are broken and it mends them back together.
Like nothing.
Now the Abomination looks like a weaker version of the BVS Doomsday to me, though, to be honest. I don't really like the CG that work. It seems a little silly. The fight at the end overall is pretty fun. It's cool. It's just the CG nowadays really sticks out.
Yeah.
I don't think it did back then, though, because I had no problem with it back then. I love the way it ends. Remember, the Abomination's still out there.
Yep.
So's the leader.
And so is the leader. Because you also had the leader. He got the blood, and during the accident.
What's that guy's name?
He's the guy that played the dude in Brother
Arthur.
I always think of Delmer.
I've been washed. My sins have been washed away.
Like when he first meets when they first meet up, I wish he would say like, Mr. Green, we thought she was a toad.
I thought she was a toad. We thought she was a toad. Anyway,
now we're going
this poor guy cannot make a comic book movie villain happen because he was the leader.
And nothing had random guy.
And he was Mole Man.
He was Mole Man.
He's Mole Man.
That's how bad it was.
Movie.
That's how bad that movie
He's
was.
always playing these villains in these movies but the movies never go anywhere else. So this poor guy is like just one day gonna play the best comic book villain in a movie ever. Yes, it is Tim Blake Nelson. Gotcha. And dude from Modern Family is Doc Samson here. Minus the green hair. Yep. Minus the green hair. What do you think about Abomination in this movie?
He was all right.
Okay.
I liked Blonsky. I liked his character a lot.
I feel like a monster.
Yeah, I thought he was, it made sense, He's a guy who's an army guy all his life. He's just wanted, striving to get better, be stronger than everybody else so he can survive.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that he would see like something like the Hulk and be like, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good feeling.
What do you think about the look?
Itself was like, all right,
Yeah.
Blonsky as a character was wonderful.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. I would have liked to have some more intense scenes between him and Banner because it didn't feel. It felt more like he was a threat that needed to be dealt with. Now, obviously, the main villain in this movie is the government. It is Thunderbolt Ross, and I love that it's something that Ross is doing is come back to bite him in the ass. And now the man that he hates the most. Because not only is he the Hulk and he won't give him what he wants, but he also is with his daughter and he hates this guy. This guy's a military, big guy, and he hates this sniveling little. And I love that everything he does comes back to bite him in the ass. He has to go to Bruce basically
to get help.
And get help. Actually, and Bruce just he's like, I have to be the one to stop this.
And it's a great moment. Civil War to happen.
It's a great moment. Yeah. During Civil War, how come none of these guys were like, Yo, Thunderbolt, you want to talk about what you did about 4 movies ago?
Hey, what about Harlem? Explain Harlem to me?
Abomination. So, Hulk takes out the Abomination because he, chokes him out. He almost kills him, but Betty stops him. Yep. And I love the Betty, Hulk, it's very much a King Kong thing in this movie. So I like that.
That's a good story, too.
That means Abomination's still out there. And I also was expecting, I was like, so he was still breathing there, right? So I was like, this dude's just winded. How did they capture him?
They captured him.
How long was he actually out?
Did they?
They
explained
something. Was it one of those short films or something?
No, he's locked up somewhere.
But how did they get him there?
I forgot it to mention that.
Because Hulk just leaves, remember?
It's a shield.
Probably.
My point, I'm trying to make a humorous point here, that this dude's just laying there, still conscious. He's still sitting there like, huh? And Hulk just leaves. What's to stop this dude 10 minutes later when they're like, I think we need more men to move him? He just wakes up again. I don't know. I think that's one villain maybe you should have killed if you're not going to reuse him.
Yeah.
So if they reuse Abomination, though, he could be morphed again. What if the leader's still out there? The leader breaks Abomination out or whatever.
Leader.
We're writing the Incredible Hulk sequel. Universal, Marvel, get it together.
Do it.
Obviously, let's do this. What else in this movie that we can talk about? Obviously, it's got a great score because it uses bits from the original Incredible Hulk series. The actor in that, Bixby, right?
Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby. There's a little cameo by him in this movie because Ed Norton is watching a Portuguese version of one of his shows.
It's
when he's trying to learn.
Gosh, what is the name of that? My cousin Eddie, I can't remember the name. Bill Bixby's show. It was with a kid.
Okay. Yes, it was that show.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
I'm sorry if you know. Put it in the comments.
Yes. Yes. But I love that, and I love the little humorous bit when he's trying to learn Portuguese.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're making me hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm very hungry." And of course, Lou Ferrigno's in the movie, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Cameo security guard dude.
Yeah. So I think overall I like the movie. Jelani, I think you like the movie. I think we liked the movie, but we know it's not as good as Iron Man. Though what's funny is at the time, when I first watched Iron Man, I was completely wasted. was completely drunk.
Yeah.
We had just had that Monaco Theater open up where we could drink for the first time in our city. We could go to a movie theater
and drink.
And
that
we
was
were
a mistake.
We were 10 years younger. It's only been less than 10 years. It feels like it's been so much longer because of how many movies have come out.
Yeah.
This movie's from 2008. It's 2017. Yep. 2018. So that's 10 years.
We're at 17 movies.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. But what was the point? Oh yeah. So I was a little drunk. I was a little tipsy when I watched these two, Hulk and Iron Man. And for until they came out on Blu-ray, I was like, Hulk's better than Iron Man.
Yeah.
Hulk's totally better than Iron Man. Hulk's a better movie. Then I rewatched them with a clearer mind, and I was like, yeah, Iron Man's better. Iron Man holds up. Hulk is still very good, though. How many you digs you give it? Out of 5, Jelani?
I'm giving it 3.
3 you digs? 3 you digs?
It's good. The CGI could be better. It had a great story, but it didn't go anywhere after this. So 3. 3 is good. It's under Iron Man. Okay. So yeah, 3 is solid.
How many you digs you give it, Brooks?
I give it 3 dig dugs too.
3 dig dugs too. So 3. 3 and 3. Okay.
And 3.
I'm going to break tradition here because last week we all gave Iron Man 4 you digs. 3.5 you digs. I give it 3.5. I think it's not quite a 3. I think it's better than a 3, but not quite a 4. So it's right in the middle. 3.5 you digs, which would be you dig, yeah. Anyway, that's what I think. How many you digs do you give The Incredible Hulk? Let us know in the comments down below, and any other comments you have about what we said or anything we did not say. Thank you guys for checking us out. We'll be back next Monday for Iron Man 2. That was the next movie. Came out in 2010. Excited to be talking about that one.
Yeah.
Kind of not one of my favorite ones, so let's see how it holds up. Thank you guys for checking us out. Hulk out, rock out, dig 'em, Rockin Robbie.
Jelani Bullard.
Brooks.
PCP. Thanks for watching. I had nothing.
Dig?
You have nothing.
You were supposed to say the dig thing. You always say the dig thing.
The dig thing.